Whoa.
Yeah.
Guys,
Who let the witches out?
Pumpkinville latte from Endicott. That's what we're drinking today, guys.
Yeah.
You guys are. I heard
Oh
you
my
guys
God.
high marks on
Okay,
this.
you haven't had this.
Gross.
Oh my God.
Let's see. It's a lot. Let's
It's
see.
a
You
lot.
can watch me get the
Okay.
lot first time. Didn't like that note.
Yep.
Mm,
That rotting
You know-
note at the end, yeah.
okay.
So here's the thing.
It wasn't that bad.
Here's the
otherwise.
thing. It's definitely
Better
real
colder.
pumpkin and
Better
not
colder,
like
yeah.
pumpkin spice.
Yeah.
So you get a lot of the pumpkin. Like I just carved out my jack-o'-lantern.
Well, and
it
it's
smells
also like pumpkin, like coffee, and
Yeah.
that's a hard.
It's
a hard.
It's a lot of flavors.
hard
Yeah.
mix.
But
Sometimes.
you're right. This is the perfect combination for it. So.
Which we don't have to say what these are. It's just some
Pumpkin pretzel.
Oh yeah, guys. So we're getting the move for Halloween. Watching our first horror film, guys. Season of the Witch of October.
Yeah.
Not first horror film.
The first season of the Witch of October, yes.
Yeah. Guess what?
It's Witchtober, is that what you're saying?
No, there's another movie called Season of the Witch, and
Oh,
we're gonna
cool.
watch it. And it's on Tubi. That's gonna be our next one because it's my choice.
I mean, sure.
So, Season of the Witch, first one from 2011, starring our favorite, this guy.
Nicholas Cage.
Not Miguel.
Cage.
He's not
Yeah.
He's on the shirt, guys.
I'm a Knights Templar,
And Ron Perlman.
and I'm Ron Perlman. And we'll get more into this, but no one attempts
And
anything
Claire
with
Foy in
accents
the first thing
for
I
this
think she's
movie-
ever been in.
For this movie.
Well, I think they just went to both those guys and like, no. They didn't say anything yet. They're just like,
They didn't even
no.
try. They're like, no, yeah.
Like, okay, we were gonna ask about accent. No, I said no, and that's what it's for. Like, okay, cool.
Think about it, you guys. The number one movie I think of with Ron Perlman is honestly
How about
The Quest for Fire. And he just plays like
Nicolas Cage tried some kind of accent, though.
maybe something.
I think he just was being Nicolas Cage.
Yeah,
He had
I
like
feel-
a slight English accent.
No, I feel like they told him to try it out, and then they just kept a couple of takes.
Yeah.
I don't think he was trying anything else. He was like, just try this one, just try an English accent, right? And he's like, yeah, okay, I'm English.
Oh, like work for Art the Room.
Yeah, look, I'm a Knights Templar or something.
I'm a Knights Templar. I will say from the get-go, beginning of this movie,
You
before
were
we even
turned
started
on?
the movie,
Full mask.
fist. I was rooting for the witches. I'm like, yeah, the witches, right? Humanity sucks, men suck, like, and literally in this movie, all the men are terrible. Witches, you know, let's go for it.
Nicolas Cage was amazing.
Which,
And-
by the way,
and
you think would be a choice, and then they would make throughout the movie, and it's not.
No.
It's not at all.
Uh-uh.
So here's the synopsis. The IMDb gives for Season of the Witch. Yeah. 14th century knights transport a suspected witch to a monastery where amongst deduce her powers could be the source of black plague.
Sure.
So by the way, that's not correct.
We'll get
yeah,
that.
he did the math on this.
Well, no, but I mean, they said that the monks deduced later that it's a black plague. No, it was the whole reason for them taking her there in the first place.
Exactly.
But cool.
Sure. But yeah, we did the math on, like, first of all, number one, first thing you see, Nicolas Cage is blonde. Just what?
Well, he starts out blonde, but then he like gets darker because he's been.
Well, that's just dirt
It gets all, he gets older, so he gets the gray in the hair a little bit, you know.
It was like the only way that
Right,
would be
like it shades for
believable
4
was if
years.
his hairline was also
That's
like
10
back
years.
here.
It's like
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah. So yeah, he's fighting forever. But he did the math on it, and like when they come back to England or whatever they are, was 3 years before the plague actually started. So
1347 was when the black plague.
good job. Good job, you guys.
Sorry,
By the way,
you got close. You're close.
At no point in this movie did they even attempt to be like historically or even logically accurate to anything.
Nothing.
So
Nothing.
it was definitely like a real full-fledged fantasy movie.
So Nicolas Cage plays the titular Bayman.
Bayman of Belvirilzel or something.
yeah.
I don't know.
Isn't he the enemy of someone?
Bayman, the enemy
Of Gozer, yes.
Of the Nightman.
of the Nightman.
Oh,
Yeah.
There's
Champion
also,
of
and then
Felsen.
Ron Perlman plays Felsen, who's like buddy.
His friend. Yeah.
Yeah, like not really a sidekick.
He's like the cool guy.
I love how it starts with them fighting in the middle of the fucking desert, and they're fighting for the church, and they're like, murder the men who are Muslim or whatever other religion they are, the heretics, but we can fuck their women, I mean, that's totally fine, so.
They were in the middle of the straight up desert.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden they're drinking
There's
with
like
ladies.
nothing
where?
around.
Yeah.
It's just desert.
Yeah.
It's just a desert. There's like nothing.
Yeah, dude, they're fighting in the Middle East, man. Everyone knows it's just desert.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's not even like
They ain't shit in the
a
Middle East.
tree. There's not even like a town.
America, fuck
They're
yeah.
just fighting in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, this seems like a bad place to fight. You gotta walk like 2 miles out of the desert to fight. Like,
Yeah, so we watched them fight for way too long, so you just want to make sure you know that they're fighting.
and they fight a lot.
Yeah, and like a lot of battles. Like they're all the famous battles.
And then they're like 1344, 1334.
And they had
they
they had Captain Mayakovsky,
Okay.
the Mayakovsky Pope there, or whatever, the dude from who was in Magicians there. And he's like, go and kick some butt, and they just go kick some butt, and he just keeps doing that.
No,
Like,
because they're like,
keep kicking
they're
butt.
like, we're sick of murdering children. And the priest is like, you're doing it for the church, and I tell you what to do. And they're like, then we're leaving. So they decide they're gonna like leave.
They actually said like
because
that.
they
Like, then we're leaving.
Yeah,
And they did like a little snap.
we're not killing children no more.
And then they went, maybe she's born with it. Maybe that's Nick Cage's hair.
Yeah, maybe.
Also, the Hound was in this.
Yeah, for like five seconds. But he was there.
It's before he's famous,
Yeah.
right?
I guess so, but
Sure.
still, the Hound. I was like, damn, I want more of this, and like, you'll never see him again.
No. So then they make it back to, we're not even sure, we're supposed to like assume England, right? Was it England?
Where they're wanted criminals, I don't know.
Yeah, so that's,
No, so it's gotta be someplace in mainland Europe, right? Like, because they had to
so
travel.
maybe like France, yeah.
I think they were German, maybe.
Oh, maybe they could be in Germany. I mean, it wasn't very,
I
no
think
one
they're
was
traveling
attempting,
from France to Germany.
no one was attempting any accents. It was like, you had no idea where they really were. The architecture was like not of any certain age or like place. It was very,
Well, we didn't talk about though why they quit though, right? Did we say that?
no, they did because they were sick of murdering children.
No,
They
it's
were
because he killed a girl, an
Yeah.
innocent girl, and she watched his face. Her face.
And apparently that was the first
No.
innocent
Yeah,
girl.
yeah. Jamie, what that's
You were fighting for 10
Jamie
years.
literally went, I call bullshit.
Yeah.
So I was like,
10 years, you never like killed a fucking kid or anything?
Yeah.
In one of these battles, like, okay.
Or raped one. I
Okay.
mean,
No, he's a good guy. He's a
Yeah,
noble
he's a
knight.
good man.
sure.
I'm Castor Troy.
I
Whereas
mean,
Felson just murders
Batman.
everybody.
Yeah.
Felson kills kids, little
Yeah,
babies,
he's
he
like,
stabs
I'm fine
babies in
with
the
that.
face.
But he also like went along with it once Bayman's
Yeah.
if Bayman's out of my house, man, fuck your guys.
Um.
And then he punched him with the fist of doom. And you're like, oh, it's Hellboy.
Yeah. So they get back to close to home, and all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, people have this plague." Which, by the way, the people who made this movie also had no idea what the Black Plague looked like or how it worked, like whatsoever.
I'm not okay.
It was like
every way,
growths on your face and shit.
everything's ever shown the Black Plague is pretty much just a dramatization of the Black Plague.
I know.
It's like they made it look like Ebola or something,
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Super Ebola.
Also we got to
Kinda,
see.
sort of, I guess.
We got to see Christopher Lee because these guys apparently someone saw the hilt of their sword, and apparently these backwater people were like,
Another
"Oh,
guy-
they're deserters."
Another
those
guy in
guys.
this movie for like
That-
3 seconds.
I was like, what is happening?
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, they saw the little hilt, and there's just a rando dude. And
Yeah.
like, what?
Yeah,
Like,
I
he's
saw
that
horses,
famous.
but I know who you are. And they found them immediately. They were like,
Oh.
"Oh, you're about to leave? No,
Yeah.
we got
From
you."
when the sword popped out to when he saw the sword went to when the guard showed up was like 5 seconds.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
talk about that fight scene though, guys. That fight scene was dope, right? Am I right? First off, he deflected 2 crossbow bolts with his sword. That's very hard to do. Then
That's impossible.
and then so then
Impossible.
they're like, you want to fire again? He's like, okay, I just quit. He's like, no, I only get 2 deflects on my. It's it's a special feat. I only get 2 per round, so I have to quit in order to get shot. And then they just kind of give up.
Yeah,
Okay.
and they're like, "Okay, now you've got us. Like we got recognized." So then they get taken to Christopher Lee, who was like,
But also,
yeah,
there's like 10 people that show up to this fucking thing.
Yeah.
yeah,
And like instantly. Like they must have been right around the corner with all their weapons
well,
and
they
gear
got
on.
like because they're deserters, so they had to get them.
Yeah.
Duh. Like it's one of those things you get.
So like, oh, luckily I had all my gear on and my
Yeah.
crossbow loaded.
Yeah.
No.
That makes sense. It makes complete sense. That part is no flaw. So Christopher Lee dressed up like Arseface, I think,
Yeah.
for Preacher. Like I'm not sure what they did with his makeup.
yeah.
He like had a thing on
Like a
his
hair lip going.
Flip, flip.
It's like it doesn't
Really?
give you a fucking hair
Okay.
lip. Like it's not what.
I guess it does.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
But also, who else do we see? We see Klaus, whose
Klaus,
name
yeah,
is
yeah,
Kay in this movie.
I said it also
Kai,
in
yeah,
this
Kai.
one.
Kai. But from here on in, I will call him Kai Klaus because it's Klaus. So
And I'll call him
I love him
Robert
so
Kai.
much.
Yeah.
I love him so
Robert
much.
Sheehan is the
Yeah.
actor's name. Yeah.
That's boring.
But
you should just go by Klaus.
yeah, but I literally wrote I'm like they must have kind of robbed the pick and mix, which is a Misfits joke. So
Yeah.
I've seen Misfits.
Sure.
But yeah, I was like, oh, he's gonna be like the
Another
funny
big
guy.
show.
No, he was not funny. He was just a.
He was also in
He's
this.
the young
in this
guy.
He was also in this movie.
Yeah.
He's
No,
a
but
young
he
guy.
hey, you know.
But the moment you met him, like, oh, he's the guy that takes over for Nick Cage.
Right.
Like,
Right.
for in Season of the Witch 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. Which there
will
will be. Which there will be.
No, and then they rounded up with like the last character who's part of this group that's gonna take this witch to this abbey so they can like cleanse her and like rid her, kill her and get rid of the plague. Is an actual British guy that you could tell they were like, well, we don't want you to sound too British because these guys are American. So try to do an American accent.
They had like a Brooklyn accent going.
Yeah, so it was.
That was amazing.
Yeah.
I did bring that.
Yeah.
Well, did you mention that the monk though, the preacher, the monk preacher?
Oh right, him.
So his name was De Balsac.
De Balsac, yes. De Balsac.
Like De Balsac, I'm like, his name's De Balsac.
De Balsac.
I definitely said De Balzac 3
Yeah.
times.
I'm like,
De Balsac.
come on,
No,
guys.
De Balzac. You said it wrong.
I think my favorite part about, especially the beginning of the movie, is they attempted a few like humor, like a little jokey joke thing with Nicolas Cage and and Ron Perlman, and it was just completely flat.
Well, Nicolas Cage really has no comedic timing at all.
Um,
Like his comedic timing, all his comedic is
fucking dare.
all his comedy is unintentional. Like there's never been a piece of comedy that you were like he meant to do that. you know.
But that's why it's genius, right?
Yeah, that's why it's so good.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, all the drinks are on whoever kills the most people, right?
Yeah, so the girl, which they didn't even give her a name.
Yeah, just the girl. Who's Claire Foy, by the way, looking
Claire
good.
fucking Foy.
Looking good. Dirty, but...
Cute ass dirty hot witch.
Yeah.
You got it. No, you're right. Dirty hot.
And again, I was coming into this like, witches.
Well, and at first,
Witches.
you're like, are they gonna do like a
Witches.
will they, won't they? Is she like a good person or a bad person?
Yeah.
Ooh, what's gonna? No, she's just completely horrible.
Yeah.
Like throughout the whole thing.
That's because she's not. Spoiler.
Yeah, we'll get there. Let's get there. But
Okay.
but you
Let's get
but
there
like you think like, oh, they're gonna set it because they did this female empowerment thing at the beginning and men are bad, and they're like, no, women are also bad.
Yeah. No, they definitely were like, women are the
Okay.
devil.
There's this. There's one part we forgot to talk about when they were walking back before that happened. They see a bunch of sheep, and it's when they find the first plague people. And Ron Perlman goes, "I'd give anything for a chicken."
Yeah.
Like, there's fucking sheep
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
what I said. I'm like, just
Eat the
mutton.
shit out of them.
Like
No,
lambs
I love how
delicious.
they were like,
That's a mutton.
there's
Yeah.
there's no one around to take care of these sheep. They would have eaten that thing.
Yeah,
it would have been grabbed, murdered,
Yeah.
on the fire.
Like those were delicious looking sheep.
Yeah.
Get down on some lamb chops,
Yeah.
homie. Like, what are you
And
doing?
then make some wool and shit out of it.
Yeah,
Done with
make some
that.
clothes.
Yeah.
The fuck?
Seriously. Yeah, so Kai Klaus ends up following them, and they have this great fight scene between him and Ron Perlman where he has to like prove his might. He's holding the fucking blade of his sword.
No, okay. For the record, that is okay. That was one of the best things they did in this movie.
I've heard of this actual.
It's called
fighting
half
thing.
swording.
Yeah.
It's called half swording, and it is a thing that was done in medieval times. They fought by holding the blades.
But she's talking about when he flipped it over and was hitting people.
They
with the
have
hilt.
done. They do that.
That's
though,
not as great. You know why? Because if you hit somebody with a hilt, that sword's going to come and hit you in the hand.
Not true.
I've heard of half swording before. I know what you're talking about.
That's not true though. Because as long as you're not moving the sword this way, it's not
So
gonna.
you think Klaus is an expert half sword?
No, I'm saying
Well,
that's a good.
yeah,
that was
maybe
a good sword fighting.
Well, and maybe they were like, he's
Stuff,
younger and doing new things, like he's
Claire's
learned
all flippy
things.
and
Yeah.
stuff.
How long was this trip, by the way?
Oh, 6 days. It was supposed to be
No,
6 days.
How long was the trip?
400 leagues.
400 leagues.
You know, the underwater way of
Well, I mean,
measurement.
back in that day, everything was leagues, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Right?
Sure.
400
Right.
leagues, and that was supposed to take 6
Yeah.
days. I was like,
Also,
I feel like the writer of this was just like, what's it like a fancy name for
yeah,
measurement?
exactly.
Leagues,
No,
we
exactly.
did it.
we must go 17
So, and
fathoms.
then I
Like,
love how
no.
they come
Nope.
up to this
What?
rickety
Yeah,
fucking
dog.
bridge, right? By the way, they had to go up like a mountain to do this. There were no mountain roads that could handle a wagon like that. Like that wasn't a thing back then. They didn't have established roads up into the mountains. It was like this is the 1400s. Like there's people walking, maybe one person walking, right?
Well, that's what they did have to go through the forest. Duh.
So, but yeah, they go through across this rickety
did they do
bridge
anyway?
that you know is of the forest.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we're gonna. He's like, we'll go through the forest and we'll get there quicker. It's like, no, we'll go like this other way around the forest. And you're like, okay.
But they still get to the wormwood forest,
and they
which
still
is,
go
like,
through the forest
evil.
anyway, which was the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, okay.
Also, before they get to this bridge, there's the flirting going on. You're like, oh,
yeah.
will they,
Ooh.
won't they type thing. And she even says there's a lot I can do behind these bars. I'm like,
Oh.
she's going to give him a handy. Like, bars, like, oh shit,
Ooh.
it's got a little witch handy. Like, shit,
Addicted
season
to
of the witch
bars, yeah.
on, baby.
Except like every
On.
time you get close enough, she fucking grabs you and tries to murder you. So
And they're already in the beginning like, wow, she's really strong. Like,
But, yeah. But you know, guys are still like, but maybe.
Yeah.
But you know,
Oh,
she
yeah.
always ripped that guy's face off. But maybe.
We did watch Blood Diner, where the chick had those
Yeah.
like thin spine like teeth, and the guy was just like, "Yep, get in the car."
No, you're hot. You got a hot body. Come
Like,
on.
but you're also hot looking.
The most realistic thing from the movie. By
Yeah.
far.
Like he went, he went, okay.
Both
get
of
in.
those movies prove that men are the fucking worst. So.
Yeah. So then we're in the forest. There's like horrible wolves.
Okay.
Amped up.
Let's talk about these wolves.
So, okay, yeah, let's talk about the fucking wolves. First of all, they make it across the bridge, right? Which you knew was gonna break as soon as they fucking made it across. Which it did.
But
I mean,
also,
that was
it
all
took
predictable.
the longest time.
Yeah.
You're like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm done with this scene. Maybe
Yeah.
move on, please. I'm like,
Done.
nope. Guess what? More things are happening on the bridge. You're like, okay.
So then we come into this woods. These are terrible wolves. I just want to say, at this point, though, Mateo did just go. So when is this going to become full horror with werewolves and demons? I just want to say that at this point, he
Oh.
said.
Now you're like a prophet.
Yeah.
I've definitely never seen this movie
Yeah.
before. Although I was entertained at this point still.
But I will
So,
say, I had read ahead and already knew that both of those
But
things were
these
coming up.
wolves,
So I was
though,
like,
they're not werewolves. They're just
No.
wolves that weirdly change their face every once in a while for no goddamn
well,
reason.
because they're possessed by the
Yeah.
demons.
The demon is like
Yeah.
going in.
Okay.
But
But we didn't
also,
know that at that point.
but also
We just thought it was a witch.
logistically, if they had been possessed, they already would look evil because they had come running to that point in the first place. Like so much supposedly possessed by her.
Also,
they're
they are
wolves.
terrible at being a wolf pack.
No, yeah.
They're jumping one at a time.
No,
all the
and
time.
they're leaping like
And they're
through
literally
the
just jumping
air.
onto his
Yeah,
sword.
exactly.
Yeah, it was like,
Oh my god. First of all,
and
wolves
he's
would
like they're jumping onto the blade and then
Yeah,
he's just shutting
like,
them off.
next
and, like,
one.
they
Next.
would come at you low and like bite you in the legs and shit and
Yeah,
pull
it's
you
like,
down.
You know,
And it's
terrible.
just-
you know what would be awesome if you were one of the like just like the regular hands, like the backstage people on that, and you're just throwing stuffed wolves onto swords. Like that would be a fun day on set for me. Like, oh, I get to throw this wolf on the sword. Whee!
Also, at this time, she's really not hiding the witch thing anymore. She's like, definitely. They're like,
Well, yeah, and from that last thing where she was like possessed the one dude into like running onto a sword himself,
Yeah.
you know, and you're just like, okay.
Well, no,
so
and then
she's
she
bad
caught
then?
Klaus.
'Cause he was also being
Kai.
nicer. He's like, I want to get
Yeah.
you out of here, and then
No.
she killed him. You're
Yeah.
like,
She
Oh,
caught
that's not cool.
Kai Klaus like on
Cobra Kai,
on the bridge and was like,
one-handed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I put
Yeah.
that which be juicing.
so she's there's something going on here. But
Like-
again,
like Vince McMahon would be all about that.
if we're
witch,
being
you know what
honest,
saying?
I'm still rooting for her at this point. I'm like,
she's not
come on,
blonde
she's-
enough. But yeah, I get it. Oh, by the way, at this point, Ron Perlman's accent has been spot on the whole goddamn time. Like he just
He's just been Ron Perlman. That's why.
just
He's
shooting shots. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm a guy from England. Listen to my voice.
Yeah,
Like,
but,
oh,
but then
okay.
the merchant, like in that scene where he gets right before he gets killed, that's when he gets the most jersey, and you're like,
Yeah.
Wait, what?
forget about
No,
it.
yeah, and like
Hey.
he was a really good shot with the crossbow. Like he probably had the best weapon. If
Which
we're
made
being
no
serious.
sense either, because he's like, I'm a loser merchant that's bad at things. And you're like, okay, he's just gonna be bad at things. He's like, nope, also a fucking crack
Were
shot.
there
Like,
crossbows by this time?
Yes.
Yeah, there was.
Crossbows
Okay.
exist in the 14th century.
But and also you couldn't swing a sword on purpose and knock a crossbow bolt
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
Never.
Never.
100%
It
no.
was what shit, like, they're-
Maybe an arrow, maybe.
Well, and also those guys were like 5 feet away.
Yeah.
They're
No.
just up on a bailey.
100%
They're like,
Bayman's officially Batman. That's
yeah,
what
like,
it is.
yeah, like,
Obviously, you guys, they're Will Scarlet. Fire and
Will
arrow
Scarlet,
straight
yeah.
at my eye.
Yeah, crossbow bolt, no.
Yeah.
No way.
He just cuts it up. Like, see, that would have been funnier at least. Like if you just would have.
At that point, it could have became a farce. So they get to this town they're supposed to get to, and ain't nobody around. It's like, oh,
Oh,
shit.
also,
like,
can we
this
just
guy
talk
can
about
do
the
it.
quick callback to Jaws, though? He was like, you're gonna need, I can't
A
remember what he
bigger
said.
carriage or something?
Yeah, something like that. It was definitely like,
the
it was
callback
like,
that was needed.
you're gonna need more
Definitely.
power or
I
something.
did like a football player. Like I just put my hand out. Like no, you get away.
Mhm.
Back off. Back over that joke.
Oh, so this is the point where we get to, like, they find the old, like, everyone's dead. They've all got the plague, right? But they find them and they're, like, writing the books and then it gets very serious.
Oh
So-
yeah, but right
Yeah.
before that though,
Right before that.
a great scene where Ron Perlman says, "You know, when we get out of this, you're gonna go and have talk about
Yeah,
shit."
no, he goes,
You're
I'd like to
best
see
friends."
the
Like,
valley where I
that
was
motherfucker's
born.
died.
Yeah.
I think that motherfucker's
100%
died.
And he's like, you come with me.
100%
So, but can I just say, the music right there is like very swelling,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah,
like
yeah,
our
yeah.
music. No, and I was like,
And then it was like-
it's almost exactly the same music from National Treasure, and then we realized
National
this
Treasure.
movie is a fucking prequel to
Prequel?
National Treasure. It's like a past life of him. He's a Knight Templar.
Okay, so we'll talk about this in a second because there's something else that I thought of
National Treasure.
that will link to this. So let's get
Ooh,
through this movie
Face
first.
Off.
Oh yeah.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
Okay, we forgot to talk about how now we find out. Oh, she's not a witch. She's actually some kind of like super
She's
Primordial
a demon.
Like,
super
yeah.
demon.
Because
She
he
set
starts
the thing on fire.
reading the book and he's like, wait, this isn't right.
What?
Wait a second. She brought us here? She made sure we were brought
And then
here?
like they reveals that you're supposed to like, oh.
Yeah.
But
You're
also,
like, oh,
they're
okay.
like, oh, she made us bring her here. I'm like, she could have fucking flown there. Like,
Yeah, she's a tiny
she
little
don't need
goddamn
you.
demon.
She could have murdered you.
Yeah.
She's a fucking
Then go and
demon.
killed everyone else there because
No,
they're already dead.
she melted the metal of the carriage. I
Yeah,
mean, she
with
could
her
have
hellfire.
she could have made it there herself. I don't get it either.
Like
But-
how they weren't dead immediately after that.
Maybe
doesn't
she's
make
like
sense.
maybe she's like the hour man where she only gets that demon power for like an hour.
Mm.
You know, like
Yeah.
and like it is established too that like she is being possessed by a demon. Like
Yeah.
okay. But like this demon's just being like mischievous.
Oh,
kind of.
that's what he said.
Yeah.
We're gonna
Mischievous.
need more holy water. That's what he said.
Yeah, maybe
We're gonna
yeah.
need
I
more
wrote that.
holy
I wrote
water.
that.
Nice,
Okay.
nice, dude.
Also,
Holy
then
water.
little Cobra Kai's like, well, I want a night. He's like,
Yeah.
he makes sure he just makes him a night.
No, that was my favorite
Yeah.
part. He's like,
What?
you shouldn't give up your life, and he's like, that's what a knight does, is gives up his life anyway, and he's like, okay, you're a knight. It's like, that's not, no.
Yeah, notice
Not where say some
Yeah.
cool words and make you a
Yeah.
knight.
He's
No,
like,
you're
man,
right.
I do this till my head gets cut off or something.
You're a knight, Klaus.
Dwebuchi.
Yeah.
Dwebuchi.
Yeah.
So night makes night. Also, the monk raids.
Oh, yeah, those are pretty awesome.
Right when I saw the monks dead, I'm like, they're gonna be undead
Yeah.
in a second, in a hot second.
I did
They
like
were.
Monk Wraith, though. That's a good name for, like,
I
a
was-
band.
We're our heavy metal band. Yeah.
I put I actually said that about what did I put undead demon monks. I was like that'd be a great like
Mhm.
hardcore band.
Mhm.
Yes, like that. Right when I saw that, luckily Jane, because Jane was like, "You're gonna ruin this movie for me." I'm like, "No, I'm just I like to talk
Yeah.
during a shitty movie. That's why we watch shitty movies."
Yeah.
And
She
then
was
she got
full
into
into
it
it, though, that's
why.
Yeah, she got into me. No, she got into it with me. Like we were talking a little bit. And I was like, "This
Yeah.
is good. This is a good bonding exercise." Watching
By
this
the
kind of
way,
movie.
can we before we get into like the final part of this, the costuming was fucking fantastic.
I love
Nicolas
the
Cage's-
cape. Yeah, that
Yeah.
I
fucking
want
cape
that
piece.
fucking
Yeah, yeah,
cape.
it's
I
awesome.
want to wear that for the rest of my goddamn life everywhere I go.
Yeah.
I was like, this looks fantastic.
Yeah,
His outfit was great.
And like they were wearing like some kind of it was like a fucking like padded armor, wasn't
Yeah, it was
anything
like a Witcher type armor
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah,
It had like a Witcher padded leather.
like a
going on.
brocade.
Yeah,
if you will.
brocade,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
brocade, 'cause
definitely.
I think when you cut it too, it had like the brocade underneath, which is a period accurate armor as well. Like I said, there were some weird things that were like you paid attention a
the
little
chain,
bit.
the chain
The
on
fuck?
this, the chainmail was like a 12 gauge. I was like, geez, that's thick ass chain.
Well, you gotta
That's
stop
some
about
thick
demon
chain,
arms.
man. I was like, holy
That's not
shit,
demon arms, man.
that was some thick chain. I was like,
Dude, come
that's gotta be
on.
heavy, even if it was
You know what it didn't protect from though? Being immolated.
Yeah.
Being just
Yeah.
having rings
But
wrapped around
the
your
demon
neck.
heart thing, I was like, okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
I was like, this is going to die. This be
Yep.
disintegrated.
So we gotta forget, Ron Perlman says right before he dies, he's like, you'll be buying tonight, my friend, because we needed that callback. So like,
Well,
you know.
because he was about to kick that demon's ass,
Yeah.
and he did not.
Yeah.
No,
No,
not
he
at all.
didn't.
He didn't get close. Like he
Like,
did
I
nothing.
got this. I don't got this.
He's like, oh, didn't realize he had this power.
You're like, ooh boy, that was not on his stat sheet.
A little toasty in here.
That was not on his stat sheet as
Yeah.
a legendary
He
action.
definitely rolled a 20 on this.
Legendary
Also,
action immolate.
Can we just say that good thing like Kai Klaus could read Latin because after the priest got killed,
I
he
knew it
just
was gonna- I was
knew.
like- I was
He
like,
just
first off,
fucking knew how to
I was
read
like,
Latin.
the ball sack is getting kicked.
Yeah.
And also that little class is being that show because
Yeah.
it's a callback to him being an altar boy. Remember?
Oh right.
Remember
Were
he's
you
an
feeling-
altar
were
boy.
you
So
feeling
he
a
gets
full-
molested
Plenty
and also
of-
raised.
Plenty
Latin.
of kids were altar boys without.
That's
reading
also why he
Latin.
talks about being molested the whole
Yeah.
time. He's
Yeah.
like,
Were you feeling a full
Witcher?
Witcher vibe at this point with Nick Cage? Like,
Toss a coin to
Yeah,
your
the whole time.
cage.
Yeah.
If you just had a potion real quick
Yeah.
and you're like, oh no. Like, here we go.
He's fucked.
Nightshade.
I'm ready to go, Morty. I'm the Witcher. The demon CGI, by the way, looked like shit.
Oh my God.
Yeah. No,
I was like, this CGI.
But you got your demons.
You know the dog. I
You
didn't
got
mind the
your
dog.
demons,
I didn't
babe.
mind the dog. I didn't mind the dog CGI. I didn't mind like the
No
witch
dogs,
smell-
Jimmy, no
witch smelling
dogs.
CGI. But when I got to looking at that stupid demon, I was like,
He
fuck
was
this
like,
bullshit.
I'm a demon.
Yeah. I was like, no,
Hi,
no.
I'm a demon.
I was like,
Yeah.
get out
No,
of
and
here.
I love when
I-
Ron Perlman jumps up and like grabs him, and it's just like, get off me, I'm a demon. Like what?
Also, like he was his only defense against Nick Cage was just like stabbing him with a little wing. I thought it
Yeah.
was cute. He was like,
stab you with my wing stab.
It seemed to be effective after
Yeah.
a little bit though.
well, yeah, when you get 75 wing stabs, yeah. Because
I'm just gonna hold him here, Dwabuchi.
you're like, okay, well,
Also, all they needed was
doing?
like one prayer for like
Yeah, no,
everything.
that
For,
was
like,
my favorite
demon.
part.
Yeah.
A real
Oh,
a real
whoa.
exorcism.
That was pumpkin spice in here.
Pumpkin spice, you guys.
A cloud of pumpkin
Magic.
spice.
A real exorcism you have to do like multiple times, like as many times as
Guys,
it takes.
Obviously, you didn't have an exorcism from the Book of Solomon.
The
He
Book
said-
of Solomon.
He said
yeah,
amen
yeah.
at the end. It was
Yeah,
done.
it was so Julie,
Yeah.
and I think the best part at the end was he's like, well, Book of Solomon's right there, guys.
Yeah.
Riding out for the girl, yeah. I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, Klaus, get it, buddy.
No, I was glad. I was like, Kai Klaus lived. He lived.
I felt nothing for the end of this. Like I was like, okay.
I felt that I had a little bit of like boner because like she was naked, like naked Claire I was like, I didn't think that was happening. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, you didn't see much.
Yes,
but,
I did.
yeah.
It's her ass.
Yeah.
Flat British ass. It's fine.
Flat,
flat-
flat
flat
British.
ass British ass.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Let's do
The
this.
queen's ass.
Yeah, the
Queen's
queen's
ass. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You can say you saw the
The
queen's
once
ass.
and future queen. I didn't feel anything for the end. I'm like, oh, okay, they're riding off.
No, I love how she was like, I don't know anything about the men who gave their lives
Yeah, exactly.
for me.
The Anna ending monologue. I
Yeah.
was like, here we
Yeah.
go, guys.
Also, I love that
Yes,
she's wearing a
bring it
blanket.
home.
Like, you
Bring it
can go
home.
find a robe or something.
No.
She's like,
She was wearing his.
Oh, Nick
cape.
Cage's cape.
Yeah, she was
okay.
wearing his cape, and I was like, that's
That
good.
cape
There
was
you go,
fucking
sure.
Yeah, I was like,
I would
take
take
that
that shit
fucking
too.
cape. Yeah, I was
Take
like, take that cape and give it to
Give it to
somebody.
Kai when he gets some
But
shoulders.
also, you guys, let us
Although,
not
like, I have
forget.
more shoulders.
Let us
than
not
y'all.
forget this entire movie happened during the Black Plague, but supposedly, like, none of them caught it, despite being
Yeah,
very
they all
close
touched
to it
a lot of plague
multiple times.
So, yeah,
Like-
oh my god. Like, literally just pick up, oh, this guy's the Black Plague.
Yeah.
But I
Like,
think
look at
he's...
his face. I think of his face.
No, that tastes like the
Oh,
plague. Yeah,
this
like-
is the witch. No, it's a woman with the plague.
But
Like, what the
Jesus,
fuck? Like,
she has
I'm
the
not a witch.
plague.
I'm your wife.
Uh,
But they apparently were all fine.
listen, this movie was low key great.
Guys,
Watchable.
I think the best, and we haven't talked about the best thing to come out of this movie.
Mm.
Okay.
Do you think that if we remade Nick Cage's movies, but put the other actor as Ron Perlman, they'd be all better? Every one of them. Gone in 60 Seconds. The Angelina
Ron
Jolie
Perlman.
part played Ron Perlman.
Yeah, Ron
Face
Perlman.
Off. Ron Perlman is the
yes.
John Travolta part.
Oh my god.
Just taking his face off, I
Wait,
feel like
you
take
guys were
hours.
literally saying that
I have so
Ron
much
Perlman,
space.
but
Makes
we're literally
every
saying Ron
Nick Cage
Perlman
movie
makes
better.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
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 What's the airplane movie where he's the
Con Air.
Viva
Con
Las
Air?
Vegas.
Con Air. Viva Las Vegas. Raising Arizona.
Ron Perlman.
Raising
I'm
Arizona.
still thinking of face off. Ron Perlman has so much face, it would take like hours to take his
That's why
fucking
it
But
was
face
I
off.
feel like
It's
the same way about John Travolta.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. he's got a
And
fucking
their
head, too.
builds are closer.
Come to my boys.
It'd be really
Come to my
glaring.
voice.
Yeah,
It'd be really
Come
glaring.
to my
Yeah.
voice.
Hey, it's me. I'm the guy.
I'm Castor Troy. I'm ready for that. I'm saying we should. We gotta.
I
see
100%
this.
will not burn this movie like the witches that were burnt. Or they're all hung, but
Yeah, none of them were burned.
yeah.
Yes, we didn't
They're
see
hung.
one.
But this was,
Also, we didn't really see a witch.
we
No,
saw them in the
actually,
beginning.
The one was
but
like
also
second,
like
yeah.
there was no callback to that witch part.
Yes, which you thought like,
At
oh,
all.
there's, like
Oh,
that
like,
woman is the
yeah,
evil.
yeah.
Like, oh, that's like we got you. And you're like, I guess.
No, this movie was supposed to be like, guess what? The church sucks and men suck. But at the same
And you're like, I
time,
guess I
at
don't
the
do
same
that.
time,
Not Nicolas
it's a
Cage.
promotion for
He
the
had a
church
beautiful
and
heart.
clearly men.
Yeah.
And
He had a
Nick Cage.
beautiful
heart.
Yeah.
And his long flowing locks.
I wish I had a wig that I could put on. For
Yeah. It's definitely my hair and not a wig.
I also like that. I guess every the Knight Templar deserted has a goatee. That's how they could tell him. I was like, how do they know? It's just a goatee. Maybe he.
Yeah. It wasn't
murdered a guy
even
and
the
stole a
sword. It wasn't even the sword. He was like, your goatee.
Like maybe he murdered a guy and stole a sword. Like how do you know that's a deserter Knight
That
Templar?
was so frustrating as a
Oh, that
plot
was
point
the
that I was just
stupidest.
like, come on.
Well,
man.
I mean, maybe not the. No, that was
Come
the
on,
stupid.
It wasn't stupid parts of it. There's a lot of stupid parts of the movie, but it was fun.
I think they're all
It's a
two
fun
parts,
movie.
and I
It was
enjoyed
a
it
fun movie.
nonetheless.
Like this cleared my palate from the last movie, which crushed my soul a little bit. I really liked it. I probably wouldn't watch it again though. I'm good. Once was enough, but
I think every Nick Cage movie you can probably say that about, except for maybe Gone in 60 Seconds. Maybe
Face
Face
Off.
Off. Maybe
Yeah.
Face Off.
No, I definitely would watch Gone in 60 Seconds multiple times. I
Con
watched
Air?
Con Air multiple times. I watched Face Off multiple times.
Left Behind.
No, I wouldn't watch it the first
This
time.
isn't even the worst Nicolas Cage movie we've watched.
I've
We
watched
Left Behind.
Valley
That was a terrible
Girl.
one.
I told you, man,
multiple
Tubi, man,
times.
Tubi. We got so many of these unknown Nick Cage.
We should do
movies.
like a month of Nicolas Cage.
No,
movies.
yes. In like January, month of Nicolas
January
Cage.
is the month of Cage.
Let's do it.
You heard it here first.
January is month of Cage.
But
guys.
the month of Cage, that means just 2 movies.
No, we'll
anyway.
do like we'll fit like a third one there somewhere.
Well, yeah, well.
Yeah, we'll do like 3.
One of those long
Well,
Actually,
we
I
pick
mean,
one.
he's working days now, so technically we could do every
What?
week of January. If
Or
we
every
really
day you
wanted
come
to.
over and we'll just do
Yeah,
every Nicolas Cage.
Never
movie.
stop it!
Nobody's watching the ones we're doing right now. Let's slow down.
Actually,
No,
these videos
all
are
Nicolas Cage. All Nicolas Cage.
Guys, we
All
love you.
Nicolas
This
Cage.
was great.
Hey, don't burn
Thanks.
this one. Watch it.
Yeah.
Don't burn it.
Watch
Watch
it.
the movie. Don't
Watch
burn it like a
Watch
witch
it.
once.
But if it is a witch,
Food fight. Boom.